Yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And Steven, I don't know if you want to ask the second to last question, or if you want me to ask it. Um, Either way, it can work either way. But
I
you want me to?
yeah, actually, I was very interested in asking this
All
question
right. Oh,
because
go ahead.
yeah, I noticed, when I was thinking about it prior to this space, I was, thinking about it, and I was like, in every Web 2 dominant industry, there are issues, and for filmmakers like yourself, I was truly wondering what problems you saw in that industry that really led you to creating the Fringe, and what can the future look like for those who are developing movies in Web 3?
Yeah. No, I mean Hollywood is unlike any other in Hollywood I'd say and the music industry are both similar in that they really are designed to take advantage of artists. I do somewhat blame George Lucas when he made the first Star Wars movie. The studio was like, we want to own the story rights, the rights to like all sequels. Um, and he was kind of grumpy about that. And so he's like, all right, well, give me the merchandising rights, give me the toy rights. And at the time, like, making movies from a toy was kind of a fringe thing. And as we all know, Star Wars toys turns into a like multi-billion-dollar industry and the smartest movie ever made. And since then, like Hollywood has learned not to give the artist anything, like zip. Like you can argue for, I mean, there's only a few incredibly top tier directors that, can really command, any sort of negotiating power in the ownership of their material. And it's very, very standard to write a screenplay, pitch it, sell it, move on. Like that's how the majority of the industry works. And for me, it kind of produces a lot of, and these are screenplays that I often get sent to read as a director, so I'm very familiar with it. But there are screenplays that are kind of like one big idea quickly written. You can't really justify spending more than a couple months on it. Where like the worlds I'm developing like take years. And so for me to give up that IP, it's like this really precious thing. It's like I have to like give up my baby to let it live. Where if you compare that to say like the tech industry, right? Like even if you take on a bunch of venture capital, like founders retain a large degree of ownership and control of the venture. And so I really think that's how IPs should be. It's like I understand like I'm never gonna like have, complete power or control over anything. But as an artist, like I want to have sort of the freedom to fully invest what I'm doing, not just treat it superficially. I want to live in my fictional universes for years, make them as best as they can be, and not just me, but like the whole collective of people that takes. Even right now, like you end up hiring like a prop maker for a couple of months, they join your project, maybe they have an original perspective. More likely they just produce something fast and sort of derivative and off the shelf, where like creating like truly original feeling stuff takes a lot more time. And so I'm also like, our like even just it goes down to like our production designer and like our costume designers, like they're in our Discord right now. Like they are part of this project, even from this early stage, contributing to it. And, even when you have Star Wars level money, you still have to make stuff pretty fast. I diss on Star Wars all the time, so I don't have to really hold back about that anymore. But like, I don't know, like the Obi-Wan show, I don't know if anyone watched that. Like, it was quickly made. It does not hold up to the same fidelity as even like kind of the early movies and stuff. And I mean, I'm not saying it was terrible or anything, but like there's a assembly line process that even creates some of the biggest franchise. And I want to create an economic model that breaks out of that actually, takes the time to make something that will be like iconic and enduring and just so like immersive and detailed. Like that's what gets me exciting. Like I don't want to make fast movies. I don't want to make fast food movies. It's like I want to give you that, 3 Michelin star experience. And then what's so cool is like in Web3, you can get your community to like superpower that because like that amount of design and detail when you're creating an original world, like the more perspectives, the better. Like our community is full of like artists and designers. and we're trying to come up with equitable ways to award them, whether it's cash bounties or NFTs, to like actually like start making, if not physical stuff for the movie, like all sorts of like design and detail for the movie, again, even now. So by the time that actual film exists, like the random thing in the background is going to have been lovingly made and thought through, and I feel like that's just going to lead to like unprecedented quality.
I think that's all really sweet, and to add to the community generated art, I think another just really cool thing that's really easily doable, and again engages the community, enables them, is community generated utility. So maybe the community generated art is rewarded with community generated utility on top of what you're doing. I mean, just throwing some things out there while we're on HODLnomics.